Hi, my name is Gustavo.
Hi, my name is Ivan.
My name is Jose.
While we were on the challenges, the first project that I got with my team at the moment, the capybaras, we were using the Cognex vision system in which we were preparing and training ourselves as well as the rest of the interns in how to detect patterns, how to detect objects, and how to send that information to the Gustavo Mini.
So my project was in charge of the PLC training. We did the claw machine where we used a bunch of inputs and outputs from different devices such as like the IR sensor or the LED lights, and we made a working claw machine that tells you when you lose or it congratulates you when you win.
My team was in charge of pneumatics, and then at first it was just learning about it, just the basic components like balls and like how to recognize all the components. And then we I guess our big lab was to create a wall climber, which was a success. So.
Well, it was interesting to say that on the competition, we were expecting, or I was expecting most, that the challenge will be programming both camera and the Yaskawa Mini. But at least for our team, or my team, the biggest flaw that we have was the challenge about getting a decent or a competitive design for the gripper. So it was more about a mechanical kind of challenge there as well, which was in all things our downfall for the rest of the challenge. But what about you guys?
I definitely agree. I definitely agree that some challenges, which I thought we're just going to be able to program robots. As Ivan was saying, sometimes the design process takes longer than the actual programming or the code, so that's sometimes a little difficult.
Yeah, I'll say like for the slim pump competition, like it's just a lot of like things you need to consider, and like when you don't consider them, you like run into the problems, and then now you gotta like fix the stuff. For us, like we were using a pneumatic gripper to pick up the bugs, and like we didn't have enough reach to reach the bugs at the side at the corners, so we have to like come with that and like fix that. And it was just like a challenge because then when we fixed that by creating an extension for the gripper, then we couldn't really launch the pugs like we couldn't launch them pretty fast, pretty good anymore. So like we had to like now like come up with another solution. So it's just like
Yeah.
like trial and error.
Well, I will say that it's a little bit more hands-on, like the different products that the company has, as well as like doing stuff, because we're not about like having the whole theoretical reading about understanding how things work, but rather straight into manuals of how to operate directly the robot, how to gain this access to this function, how to do this or do that, to the point that okay, we need the robot to move fast, we go back to the manual and we check specifically maybe how to do parallel jobs, how to do things faster, and all of them imply going back to the robot, checking a few things here and there, and we have instant feedback about how the robot is going to perform, which is, at least for me, one of the types of learning that I appreciate a little bit more, because I don't have to imagine how things will gonna the outcome of the things, but rather I am seeing those and I'm doing updates as I see they come up.
It's definitely different for me compared to what I'm doing in school. Yes, in school you talk about like all like the moment of inertia, or all of these like fluid mechanics, or we do delve into a little bit with code, but it's not the same as like having it hands-on. Like there's computer algorithms that do these things for us, that makes it easier, but it does help to see where it actually comes from. And a lot of it is like you wouldn't think that you would need all these like math equations, but it's great to see like where it actually stems from.
And then adding to what they said, it's also like I feel like we have more freedom to like play with the things that we're given. So it's like we got more like hands-on, but we got freedom to like test things out and see which one works better. And in school it's more like, well, we want you to do this way, but there's so many ways you could do something, or like to program like how to play a theme park, that you had the freedom to like just do your own like program with the things that you were given. So it's not like a set steps. It's more like you pick your own way to like follow, and then you learn so much more that way instead of just being like you want us to just go one way instead of just exploring like other combinations and like probably combine some other things to like make it better. It's just like more freedom and like a better way to like learn stuff.
I'll say that it has been like an entry to what it is working at the industry, because even doing research at the university or doing labs or trying to even build robots doesn't give a full idea of what is being on the other side of the company. Even as interns here, we are not having the same loads as the engineers, but we are making an impact in the company, as the products and the projects that we are working on will be used for the company in expositions. It will be used to show up the capabilities of the products that are being done here. Something that, at least all of the words that I just said, I probably will have not thought about that or have the closest idea when I was back at the university or just studying or doing research. So it's more about being connected with an end product and maybe not worrying about don't worry that much about the theoretical standpoint of things, but rather the technical parts of the documentation, and that everything is pretty much like build like a deliverable project that is gonna be seen and is gonna need to follow a lot of industry standards to be approved or used by anyone.
Definitely, like Ivan was going and saying, this is definitely my first internship. I have had other jobs, but they weren't related to like STEM fields, more like customer service. So that really does play a role of how we see, like I know Antoine has like a bunch of customers. We're at Precision Zone teaming up with GennFlex to create this certain curriculum where it's more accessible to high schoolers and university level students. So that definitely plays a role of how things are connected from like the marketing standpoint and like the engineering standpoint. And it definitely opens my eyes of how the industry works behind closed doors, and a lot of hands-on, a lot of tools, a lot of different things that lets me know like what industry I would like to go into in the future. So it opens my eyes to different things.
Yeah, just like Gustavo, this is my first internship too, and then yeah, it's I guess it gave me more like experience on like how we could like include robotics in like the industry and like the real world. I could say like it just like gave me experience in that, instead of just like being in a classroom and be like, oh, just do this, like I said before, just do this and that. It's more like you could use it to like from a manufacturer, which is what we're doing now. But and then or just also just like you could set up to play games with like people, or you could just use pneumatics to like do a lot of things with the robot too. So it's just like a lot of connections and a lot of like things that are just new to me, and like that I probably see myself putting in there in my career later on, because like pneumatics is a really like interesting thing that could be used for robotics, which is what I'm trying to like go more into at this point. So yeah.
I'll say that I have liked it so far, in the sense that it's an experience that introduced me to something that I was not that used to back in the university. That is, let's say, having a 8 to 5 work schedule, like an office kind of work schedule. Even though that I understand that engineering doesn't normally go that way, but rather it goes more along projects. In the sense that if we have deliverables, we are gonna have to maybe have to work a few extra hours, and so like having a constant schedule day by day, just being here, having responsibilities, meeting deadlines, using the Sana platform, those things have helped me to maybe be more responsible or more organized with my time, or how do I spend it.
Oh, I agree. Like definitely, it's a long day, and it definitely brings a light into how much work goes into robotics, but also it also shows to me that it's not as hard as you would think. Coming into this internship, I was like, I'm definitely not qualified, or like don't know anything about like robotics.
Honestly, I
But
was expecting
right?
like it's gonna be
It's gonna be
I need to
hard.
get tough. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to.
like my first week, I was just like, I need to study like these programs and like do it. But the more time like went on, I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. And if it was challenging, there's also people here who can help me.
Yeah, like Gustavo said, like at the beginning of the time was, I don't know, like I wasn't fit for it, and like I was just like, I was kind of scared because I was like, I probably won't be able to like do what is expected of me. So it was just like hard. But then as we progressed, like he said, there were people here to help us. Like at this point, it's just way better than I expected to be like the internship, and like I learned like a lot of things. And it's been pretty fun, like more fun than I expected to. So.
There's maybe something that I always have been thinking from the beginning, but that's also because of my background in CS and electrical engineering, is that I'm always like, I have like a really shared love for coding, and maybe having a more computer-ish kind of interface rather than using the smart pendants or the different tablets that we have seen here. And sometimes I feel, okay, I'm just programming my robot. There's a lot of tools that allow me or open my eyes to how to gain more control over the different robots that we handle here. But sometimes I feel I wish there was a section or a part in which they trained me or allowed me to, or they gave me the tools so that I can connect just my laptop and start coding if I want to go a little bit faster or I want to use different tools. But at the same time, I mean, it's understandable, like the aims of the project and maybe who is like the target for these kind of trainings, to say it balances things out. And at the same time, we are engineers and still we're struggling sometimes like figuring out how to use the tablet or how to solve the problems, because that's maybe one of the advantages of not having code. Just me going back to maybe seeing that thing from another point of view, and is that if we are not worried that much about like just typing the right code but rather using the right code, is where having this tablet, this smart pendant, helps us to just focus to solve a problem rather to focus how to solve the coding for a problem.
Yeah, like going with Ivan, I do think that during the training, it would have been helpful to maybe have an HDMI cable connected to the smart pendant. That way, both people can look at a screen. Because I do think having two people is great. That's like a great number to have on one single robot. But more than that is like too much, because one person has to have the pendant in hand. So we could aid that, but maybe adding like an HDMI cable connecting to the computer, seeing what that person is inputting like as code or like what they're doing as their directions, and then maybe follow along with that. But I do think that it's great that it's like only a group of 8 people that's very like close. All of us are pretty close together and like proximity, so if we do have a question we can ask our teammates, and all of our teachers and instructors have done pretty well, right? Do you guys think
Yeah,
the quizzes were pretty not too hard?
Yeah, I mean, they took us by the hand, but also we have
Yeah.
some liberty just
The
to
liberty
figure out,
to
and
do
so
it. Yeah.
more freedom, yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say that I think we can all agree that in each one of the teams there is always like the smart pendant or the Yaskawa specialist that has spent a little bit more time with using the smart pendant, so
Right.
that if we want to do something really fast, that's the guy that is gonna grab
Correct.
smart pendant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Gustavo, like what both of them were saying, I feel like finding a way to like have multiple people independent, like it would be a good way to go about this, because like just having one person like in it, like it's just not wasting time, but like it's just like not efficient, because like it's only one person looking at it. So essentially that person is creating like that pseudocode or like that program job in the pendant, instead of having the other people having inputs in them. And then I feel like that's just what the problem is right now with having like a group of people, and like probably like Gustavo said, probably put like an SDMI to a TV or something where they can see what you're doing and they can have some input in it. But like finding another way to like have multiple people in the robot just working on it, instead of just having one like straight up just looking at the pendant, would be like the way to go.
I will gladly recommend a lot this internship. I mean, I wish that maybe there was more people from the university that will be looking at this. At the same time, it's like maybe the thing that I brought also in the first interview just getting here, and it's like the fact that this is labeled as a robotics engineering internship is something really interesting because when I was just looking at, let's say, the job posting sites like LinkedIn or in my case Handshake, that was the one that my university has agreements with, I guess. Uh, Finding robotics internships here around the Midwest or close to Milwaukee, Chicago area, there are not that many. I guess they are more for full-time positions, definitely, but for internship, there was not much to look into, which is odd because it's still that's like a growing and oriented to further future kind of careers. So yeah, that's one of the things that if you're really into robotics and want to just get hands-on with this, or even industrial automation, because I feel that that's something that pretty much we're doing here, and the solutions that the company brings is pretty much that. I will advise a lot to take this. Any ME, or CS related fields will do just fine, or even biomedical. It's like there's a
Right.
professional that is from biomedical and is just doing great here.
Collaborative robots, right?
Yes.
I would definitely encourage it, and I would encourage people to like maybe even if robotics isn't something you're interested in, having that experience and that hands-on working with all the programming and all the smart pendants and how the industry works definitely helps build your resume. Like Ivan said, not a lot of people. This is such a niche field that you either have like 4 years of experience or you have no experience, and this is a great way to bridge that gap between like no experience and to having at least some knowledge of how the systems work. So it's a good stepping stone into the right direction if that's something that interests you.
Yeah, I recommend it too. I feel like even if you're interested into like robotics, it's a good way to like experience it and see like if you would like to follow that path, or if there's like something like a small part of robotics that you might be more like into than like other parts. So it's just like a good way to like see what you like and what you might not like about robotics. So.
Please subscribe to the capybaras _ GennFlex at TikTok. We are still just keep raising. We're about to hit the 100 subscribers. That's like a really good thing for us. But pretty much all of the things we're kicking ass there. So maybe you want to tell more about it.
Yeah, even though we're like still split up, follow us, and thanks for watching. Follow us at marksman _ GennFlex on TikTok.
Yeah, then follow us too at motormind _ GennFlex.
Actually, I saw your latest breakthrough is that you have a video that has already 3K views, and it's just like, it's nice. That's great.
Yeah,
We
but
are-
not too many likes.
We're not there.